After the use of nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world changed forever. But where did the weapons come from that could wipe out entire cities? Who invented it? And is there any way to escape it? Nuclear weapons are the most dangerous and deadly thing imagined by man. The entire nuclear stockpile is enough to destroy our entire civilization. Only 9 countries in the world have nuclear weapons. In the beginning, only 5 countries had it, such as the US, Russia, China, France, and UK. But then the other 4 countries, such as Israel, India, Pakistan, and North Korea got it. But how did the nuclear bomb come about? In 1938, German physicists Fritz Strassmann and Otto Hahn discovered the division of the atomic nucleus. Work immediately began in Germany to develop a deadly weapon. But still, Nazi Germany failed to create this weapon due to a number of reasons, although it was very close to this goal. In 1939, Albert Einstein, along with Leo Szilard, Eugene Wigner, and Edward Teller, sent a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt, in which he claimed that Germany is actively researching the atomic bomb, and Einstein and his colleagues called for the launch of large-scale atomic research. Roosevelt responded by agreeing to nuclear research. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered World War II, and this only accelerated the development of nuclear weapons by the United States. On August 13, 1942, the so-called Manhattan Project began, which, as you can see, was a project to develop nuclear weapons. This project was led by American physicist Robert Oppenheimer and General Leslie Groves. The Manhattan Project attracted nearly 130,000 people and cost nearly $2 billion. The Manhattan Project brought together scientists from the United Kingdom, Europe, Canada, to United States, among whom were 12 Nobel Prize winners, into a single international team that solved the task in the shortest possible time. However, despite the strict secrecy of the Manhattan Project, atomic spies handed over to the Soviet Union a large amount of technical information that was used in the creation of the Soviet atomic bomb. The first nuclear test was conducted in New Mexico on the 16th of July 1945. This day will forever remember the world. And in August 45, nuclear weapons were first used against Japan, in the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Why use nuclear weapons, and the war was almost over? This question still gives rise to much controversy. At the same time, Oppenheimer, after creating the atomic bomb, became a star. His name was printed on the covers of popular magazines. But Oppenheimer himself believed he had created a weapon capable of killing all mankind, and was opposed to that weapon. In 1949, the Soviet Union tested the first Soviet nuclear bomb, which meant that the Soviet Union had nuclear weapons. Soon the arms race between the United States and the Soviet side began. In the course of this confrontation, each side is producing vast quantities of weapons in an attempt to overtake the enemy. And as you've already realized, both sides have created a huge number of nuclear assassins. The atomic weapons created in these years would be enough to destroy all mankind. And there was one case in history that could start a nuclear war. It was called the Caribbean Crisis. In 1961, the United States of America deployed nuclear weapons on Turkish territory, while the Soviet authorities responded by placing their missiles in Cuba. The deployment of missiles in Cuba was the response of the Soviet Union USA, which almost led to the nuclear war. But luckily, these differences were circumvented by treaties, and by building relations between the two superpowers, that the weapons continued to improve and become more powerful and powerful. In 1961, the Soviet Union tested a bomb of unprecedented power. Its name was Tsar Bomb. It was the most powerful nuclear weapon in history. The outbreak was visible over 1,000 kilometers away, and was observed in Norway, Greenland, and Alaska. At 780 kilometers from the test, in a village on the island of Dixon, windows broke. And after the world saw what weapons can do, you had to do something about it. And then in 1968, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed. But some countries did not agree to sign this treaty, which eventually led to the addition of nuclear powers to the list. To solve the problems between the United States and the Soviet Union, it was decided to reduce the nuclear stockpile of both countries. Since the end of the Cold War, the nuclear stockpile has declined. that there is still the fear of starting a nuclear conflict again, and we must understand that the use of nuclear weapons is unacceptable. If you like this video, you can support me like and to avoid missing new interesting and informative videos. Subscribe to the channel. With you was Livioply, and as always, pump your brains. See you in the new video.